I'm going to love this segment. Welcome back to Hardball. Since September 11th, Republicans have taken hold of national security as one of their signature issues, but over the past few months, the GOP descended into a party that questions things like the president's birth certificate and his college grades. Well, after the death of bin Laden the other day, will Republicans get more serious? Is this their defining moment as they prepare for 2012? Jonathan Martin writes for Politico. He's a great reporter on politics especially. And Michael Smerconish is an MSNBC political analyst and national syndicated radio host. And more to the point, You have been the guy chasing. Who was that guy in Les Mis that kept chasing the guy? He wouldn't stop. You
Jean
are that
Valjean.
guy. Jean Valjean.
Jean
You have
Valjean.
not. No, you have not stopped. No, Joubert. You were the guy. Joe, you were the cop that wouldn't stop chasing. You have been pushing this issue, as all Americans have in their souls. But you verbally, why have you been on the warpath on this one issue, Smerconish? How many interviews do you have with the president?
5.
And in every one of them, you've talked about this. And what have you gleaned from those interviews with the president?
Well, I'm so glad that you ask it that way, because the president has got to be given credit for having done exactly what he said it would do. If you go back to the spring of 2007, when he started to say, I will move on actionable intelligence in Pakistan if I don't have confidence in the Pakistanis doing so, and I then perpetuated that question and would ask him time and again, many people didn't want to believe him. You know, the Republicans did not want to accept at face value. They wanted to promote this notion of him being an other, more like them, whatever that might mean, than like them. And in the end, Chris, he put the hammer down exactly as he said he would do.
You know, I want to get to Jonathan this. It seems to me that this president is, and I mean this positively, cold-blooded. I think people who are chief executives of this country and have all the firepower before them, they have to be willing to use it or they shouldn't take the job. It's very simple. If you're not willing to use our military power, if you're not willing to kill people when you have to, you shouldn't take that job. This president is not a wimp about using power. In fact, I dare say he's pretty cold-blooded. He went after the pirates. He actually called for the contract. He called for the hit. He did it again here.
Yeah, Chris, do you remember the speech that he gave when he received the Nobel Peace Prize? I mean, I think that was, a very telling address when he said basically that of course, he's a lover of peace, but as the leader of a country, he looks after America's interest. And there are times when you have to project American force and, yes, use the weapons of war to protect American lives. So I think, obviously, that's what he's done here. But this does, I think, provide a problem for Republicans on the issue of this narrative, which you touch on, Chris, the notion that he is somehow weak or, unwilling to sort of use force. He doesn't like violence. He's sort of the faculty lounge guy who is unfamiliar with the U.S. military. He has a ready response for that now for the next year and a half. He can say, well, you can ask Osama bin Laden about how soft I am. You'll find him at the bottom of the Arabian Sea.
Yeah, I think he's the man that shot Liberty Valance style. Let's look at here's former RNC chair Michael Steele just yesterday calling on Republican candidates to get tough on taking on the president, but he also pointed out the difficult position they find themselves in now. Let's listen to Michael Steele.
Right now, the Republican candidates for the nomination are not getting the traction they need to go up against the president of the United States, an incumbent president of the United States, who is a formidable campaigner, who's a heck of a fundraiser, and who has the wind of the economy and now some international success in his sales.
Well, let me ask you, Michael, you talk to people all the time. Do you think they're going to drop the crazy stuff? Is this bad news for Trump? I'm not only name a time I'm going to mention probably tonight. Is it bad news for him and Palin and Bachmann, the ones that sort of do the soupy sales number? Are they finished?
For Trump, because how in the world does he shut down this presidential aspiration in the next 3 weeks? That's his timetable without having egg on his face. The problem, Chris, I think for the GOP is that they have so narrowed the base, and all the crazy talk incites the base but offends most of the rest of the country. So are they going to continue to placate the base or try and grow the tent? I see no sign thus far that they're ready to grow the tent. They're very content to be insular. That's a losing strategy in a general election.
Well, here's Lindsey Graham. I just want to quote Lindsey Graham because I've always respected this guy as a patriot. He said he had a not-so-veiled shot at Donald Trump in his interview for Politico, your paper today. He said, quote, I hope this will focus would-be candidates on the seriousness of our times we live in. When you talk about staying in Iraq and taking their oil, maybe will people stop talking like that? He's talking about Trump. Your thoughts, Jonathan?
Yeah, no, he was talking about Trump. There was little doubt in my mind when I talked to him on the phone yesterday that that's who he had in mind, even though he didn't use Trump's name. Look, I think Michael makes a fair point, but it is May of 2011, so there's a long way to go here. A lot of Republicans that I talk to say, yes, this has been something of a silly season, but this is a long primary. It will clarify itself. The process will work itself out. We will get a serious mainstream candidate.
Okay.
And if the economy is not recovered, that person will be formidable come the fall of 2012.
Well, the problem is we're watching the NFL replacement season right now. Look who's going to be in this debate this week on another network. It is the replacement season. Look at these guys. Tim Pawlenty, he's for real. Ron Paul, he'll get out by the primary filing season. Herman Cain, he's not going to win probably. He's not even a politician. Buddy Roemer, he's an ex-Democrat. Party switchers don't do too well in this business. Gary Johnson, another fellow I don't, former governor of New Mexico. And Santorum's jumping in now from Pennsylvania. Michael, this is the replacement season. This sort of have Jack Warden and what's his name, and Gene Hackman coaching this team. Your thoughts?
Look, I'm a political junkie, and I don't think I know half of them myself. And you've got Romney on the sideline. Palin, I don't think she goes, but she's on the sideline for this. Huckabee, I don't think he wants a piece of this either. In the end, Romney's the strongest candidate. I've always believed that, but I think he wants to stay out of as much of this primary skirmish as he can.
A late entry. Chris, thank you. Yeah, go quickly, John. 10 seconds.
Just real fast, I was going to say that's Thursday. Tomorrow, though, Washington, D.C., Mitch Daniels here in town giving a speech on education. There'll be a lot of folks watching that, looking for clues as to what he says and whether or not he's going to run.
He's not going to run.
In a period of a few weeks.
He's not going to run. I'll save you time. He's not going to run. Thank you, Jonathan Martin. And thank you, Michael Spurkanish.